name's Mr Jubb and I'm a PE teacher at Wallace High School. I came into teaching in a sort of roundabout way. It was a bit later in my life. I actually did my first degree in physiology through Glasgow University. Graduated from that and couldn't really get a real job that I was really interested in, but managed to get myself a contract working at Glasgow Warriors as a performance analyst, and part of my contract through that was to actually do some volunteer coaching in the community. So it was to actually go into inner city Glasgow schools, work with kids sort of age 8 to 15, 8 to 16 and give them a positive experience of rugby. So inner city Glasgow schools, they all play football, so that sense of let's not kick the ball, let's pick it up. It's really alien to a lot of them, but I very quickly realised that that was the best part of my job. That'd be the part of the week that my sort of 50, 60 hours I was doing, that those sort of 3 to 5 hours every week, they were the best hours in the week that I really enjoyed because I got most from them. And it was one day when I was doing a bit of coaching, a dad who was there and came along and said, "Oh Chris, I thought that was fantastic, that was really good. I've never seen my son so engaged and so enthusiastic and really passionate, and he's played football all his days, but I mean this is brilliant. Just to see him really go and getting into it, and that's all down to you and your coaching team that you've had here." And he went down the line of just presuming I was a coach, and I said, "I'm actually here as a volunteer. This isn't my job at all. I work with Glasgow, but passionate about rugby, really enjoy working with youngsters and giving something back." And he's like, "Have you ever thought about teaching?" And I said, "No, not at all." Then further chatting to him, he was a teacher in a city Glasgow school. He offered me to come into his department voluntary, so I went in, got to know a bit more about the school, education, the whole system and the whole shooting match that goes along with that. And I realised that this could be for me. I am enjoying this so much more than the paid work I was expected to do. So very quickly I then did some research and found a postgraduate course through Strathclyde University, and then went on and did that, did my teacher training, and here I am 10 years later as a PE teacher, and I'm still here. So I must be doing okay so far. Do I ever struggle with pupils in the job itself? In truth, yes, daily, absolutely. It's to think that any teacher doesn't struggle with the job, I think they'd be a big barefaced liar, they'd be telling you a porky pie. Some of the daily struggles would be basic things of you're trying to correct pupils' behaviour. So it might be, can you move a scarf or jacket in the corridor when it's not supposed to be on? It might be paper for a printer, it might be a minibus is broken down so you can't get the kids to a rugby game, it might be I've no got my kit, I'm no wearing my kit, whatever it may be. There are daily battles and challenges, but most of it in context comes down to human nature, human relationships. So working hard with the pupils, I find that, as I said, 9 years at Wallace, 10 years teaching, I've invested so much time in building those positive relationships with the kids we've got here at Wallace High School, so much so that investing that time, giving a little bit of yourself across to the pupils and trying to be that nice person, that good sounding board for them, that positive role model, I think makes such a difference. So that once you build that and you give that little bit of yourself across to the kids, I feel you get it back in almost spades, you get it back in 10 times, because the pupils just want to be good, they want to impress, they want to let you know that they're doing their best. So that pupil you might be clashing heads with about always having their jacket or scarf on or never bringing their kit, whatever it is, a couple of months down the line, once you've got that relationship and you've worked hard together on both sides of the debate there, you find that pupil's totally on side and they want to work really hard for you, they want to impress, they want to show off because they're capable of doing it. That relationship for me makes my job much easier. By then, when I ask them to do something like push themselves in a class or be challenged by let's complete some homework or let's maybe do some volunteering later in their school life and as an S4, 5, 6, the fact that I've worked really hard at developing that peer relationship with them in the younger years, you then get the payoff in the senior school, and you then get to work really closely with the kids and find out what they're really about, what their hopes are, what their dreams are, where they want to go. So you get the payoff in the end. But yeah, is it challenging? Oh, absolutely. The job itself is taxing, it's demanding. I live far away, I'm 37 miles away in Glasgow, and to get myself up at 5 and then get myself into school, I need to keep myself fit and healthy so I can get in. The reason being, there are days where I get up just going, oh, I'm tired, I'm frustrated, I've got so much work to do. But you know what? There's over 1,000 pupils at Wallace. They're dependent on me to get in and do my job. They're dependent on me to come in and be a positive role model. They're dependent on me to come in and set a good standard. The reason I pride myself on that is if I set those good standards, then perhaps they might mimic them either in school and hopefully carry that on out with school, developing those good habits now. I think the School of Sport and what it brings to Wallace High School in particular, and the wider community and the whole kind of Wallace High School as itself, is for a lot of people it gives them a sense of identity. It gives them a real sense of belonging and self-worth and belief in that they're not just a wallflower and they're not just another name on the Wallace list. I said, we've now got over 1,000 pupils. That's a lot of kids coming through these doors. For some of the kids who come in, like I know I'm responsible for the School of Rugby for the past 9 years here at Wallace High School, but we don't, I know personally in the whole PE department, we don't just pick the strongest performers. It'd be very easy on your school of sport trial days when your primary school kids to come up and just go, right, let's pick the best 20. For me, it's not about the best 20. The kids who are really good footballers or dancers or swimmers or rugby players, they stand out very easily, which is great to see. But for me, the real testament and the real payoff for your school of sport programme is seeing kids who aren't those top performers, who then all of a sudden might have struggled in primary school to make friends, might have struggled to openly talk and communicate with other people, or maybe just to engage in being in school because their attendance in primary school might not have been great because maybe someone at home wasn't really pushing them and challenging them. School of sport might be that one thing that actually gets those kids a bit more involved. So not only does it give them that more time of being physically active so they can be healthier, they can be fitter physically, mentally, emotionally, but it also teach them skills of being organised because they need to bring a PE kit, a school of sport kit, school bags, lunch, snacks. They need to make sure they're on the ball with all those kind of things. Teach them to actually work collectively together because we put a lot of pressure and demand that, right, you're maybe missing social subjects, English and maybe French. There's 3 periods of the week you've maybe missed from, for example, rugby or swimming, dance, football, basketball, whatever you're going. You need to go and catch up on that work. So that might be of doing some homework, coming along at lunchtime, getting the pupils who I think when you ask 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old kids to give up our lunchtime, right, you're going to come in, you're going to stay inside, you're going to get some books open, you're going to do some work. What subject do you miss? Oh, you miss French, right? Let's get the French book out, let's do some French. And guilty as charged, I'm not a brain box, I'm relatively intelligent, but by no means am I a very, very intelligent person. But I'll find myself, right, okay, I'll be sitting S1s doing some French, and then I'll go over, there's the 3rd years, they're doing some science, and I'm like, oh, I remember this when I was at school and I wasn't great at it. But again, me giving that little bit of time back to those kids, they understand that, well, if I'm investing my time as an 11, 12, 13-year-old, well, Mr Jubb, Muggins here, he's also investing his time in us. Well, maybe I'll make sure I'm here every week because he doesn't have to give up his lunchtime either, but he's doing that as well. So again, that's collectively working to each other, building those relationships. So I think not only does it make them fitter and healthier and better learners, but it actually teaches them so many other good life skills. I think that is crucial. It's massive for pupils. I think with the environment we're in and the pressures that go on youth, young adults, and everything that comes into the world today kind of thing, kids are almost older before they have the chance to be, where we put a demand on pupils, for example, maybe when they're 15, 16. What do you want to be when you're older? I don't know. And for me, I'm maybe one of the few teachers to go, that's okay not to know. Not knowing is a choice. So rather than picking and going, this is what I'm going to do, that's that one thing, I then flip it the other way. Why don't you pick 5 things that you might want to do and see if you don't like 5? Great, you've just eliminated 5 things that you know, that's definitely not for me. All of a sudden we've gone from a big wide field and we just start to narrow it into what you do enjoy. Again, challenging the pupils in those younger school to do all those extra things. It can be quite demanding, quite challenging. Preparing them for hopefully that senior phase, it can be a lot to take on for especially some of the younger kids. But giving them exposure of that early might help them later on in life to make that, when you come to them, what do you want to do when you're older? It might be, I want to work in film, TV and media. It might be, I want to work in radio. I might want to be a teacher. I might want to be an astronaut. Great, but we give them hopefully the tools and skills to realise they can do that in those younger school years through School of Sport.